Hey, you guys, this is me and my brother Cody. He's joining me again. And this month, if you don't know, is suicide awareness. And so this is a very sensitive topic that we are going to be very respectful about. But it's something I felt like would be a really great opportunity to have an open conversation. And so I'm going to ask my brother some things that I've never asked him before. And so my first question is, because you've experienced suicidal thoughts
I've attempted suicide twice, yes.
twice. That's how I didn't know quite how to ask that, I guess. So tell me, when you are in that place, where are you? Where is that place?
Yeah, it is a sensitive subject, and my heart always goes out to the person that's feeling like they have no escape. Your head is in such a place. It's frustrating when people call people who are thinking about it cowards, because it's when you're in that place, you truly believe that the world and everyone around you would be better without you there, and that's not a place of being selfish. More,
I was going to say, is a lot of people talk about how selfish suicide is,
and that's a lot of people that's in their own ego, that's thinking about themselves and not thinking about the other person. And it's by no means, I don't think it's a selfish act. I think it's I don't agree with it, and I've been there, but life is eternal, so it's not like your body dies here and you stop living. Life is forever. So the opposite of death. So you
feel like you're better off on the other side versus suffering here?
The opposite of death is birth, not life. So, it's probably going to be, in my opinion, it's a cycle that they're going to have to continue until they work through their problems. So I don't think that it's the end for them. It's just the start of something new.
A new beginning.
And if they decided to end this body's existence that way, then they'll probably have to experience another life until they learn what they need to in order for their soul to progress.
So when you're in that place, is there anything a family member or anyone who loves you, that something we could say to pull you out of that? Because I've felt like I wish there was something to prove to you that we aren't better off without you, that there would be loss for us if that is something you were to do. Is there anything?
I think words are powerful. We were just talking about that, but I think actions do speak louder than words. I know for me, my love language is physical touch, so a hug goes a long way. I think one of the things that blew my mind when I lived off-grid in Hawaii was everyone out there gave really long hugs. Like, it wasn't just a wrap your arms around, pat, and good. It was like
an embrace,
minimum of 10 seconds, and sometimes like 20, 30 seconds. And then I realized that while I was out there, and then I read somewhere a few months ago that it actually takes 30 seconds for a hug to become a healing.
Yep. So
for that to actually induce a healing effect on your body.
That's how powerful it actually is.
It really is. So.
Yeah, I agree. So do you want to share maybe what took you to those places, those two times? Like, what got you to that point?
And looking back, it's interesting to look back, and especially being able to be there twice. I think experiential knowledge is the best knowledge out there, and that's not something that I want to experience again. But having experienced it, I can look back and see some of the things that caused it. Basically, what are you feeding your soul? Like, what kind of music are you listening to? What kind of movies are you watching? What are you listening to on TV? What kind of conversation are you having? Not just with other people, but your inner dialogue. Like, what are you saying about yourself? Are you constantly saying things like, oh, I'm stupid, or I'm not good enough, or I should have done this? Like, it's crazy how that self-talk is going to completely affect your life.
Oh, it's your narrative.
But yeah,
it's what you're telling. That's your narrative, and you're going to live by what you tell yourself.
Your mind is going to be your best friend or your worst enemy. Yeah. But once you learn to control your mind and your thoughts, And once you control your thoughts, the words will come, and you'll be able to control your words. And it all starts with controlling your mind, and your emotions are going to happen. I'm not telling you not to feel. Like, things happen and you're going to feel your emotions, but be in that, let yourself feel it. And then, I don't know, realize that it's just, that is your feeling, and be in it, but don't let it control you. So
I've been taught
you
you
only
embrace
have-
the suck, but then you move on.
Yeah.
But how do you do the moving on? Like, for you, what did that look like? Because I actually have a friend right now that I know is really struggling, and how does she go from this where that it consumes her? How does she move from that to moving on?
I don't know how
There's
to.
probably not one right answer.
It's a personal experience. I don't know how to explain it, because a lot of processing. I think communication is very important. So if you have somebody that you can talk to and process through your thoughts and emotions and why you're feeling this way, almost always it's going to be like when something happens and you have a reaction that's negative, it's probably because something in the past and it triggered. So I think processing through your emotions and why you're feeling a certain way is going to help in the long run. That's not a short task
that's not a
either.
short
That
task.
takes time. But
Wouldn't you say even learning to recognize what those triggers are? I think that can be a key.
Oh, absolutely. Recognizing your triggers and then processing and finding out where the pain comes from, and then you can start working on healing it. So it's a process, and it takes time, but that's why we're here. That's why we're on this beautiful earth, to create our own personal heaven. Because my personal opinion is we're already living in heaven. This is heaven, and we get to choose what we do with it. And a lot of people are making a mess of it, and I see that. But it's
all about perception.
You can still live in your own personal heaven and see everyone else living in their own personal hell that they've created, and you can still be at peace and be in joy and understand that they're in their process and you've gone through that, and you can have compassion and empathy for them because you know what their struggle's like, and just love them.
Yeah.
Love is the key to everything. So if my advice to anybody is love as much as you can, and it starts with yourself. A lot of people are seeking love outside, but until you have that inner love and you truly know yourself and love yourself, the good and the bad, you're not going to be able to truly have unconditional love for somebody else until you've had it for yourself.
Well, and I think taking responsibility for the good and the bad, I think that's important. So what has that healing brought you? What do you feel like you've gained through that process of healing? Because I know you're still in that journey. I know you've still got so something I love about Cody is he is constantly working on himself. He is constantly trying to be mindful about how to be better and how to be the best version of himself, and whatever that may look like. He's the first one to admit his shortcomings, which takes so much strength and courage.
There are many.
Well, there's many for all of us, in my opinion. I think we're always he called me out the other night. And I was a little pissy with him, I'll be honest. So we're at dinner. We're at Texas Roadhouse. It's my daughter's birthday, and I'd been on my phone, and I looked down the way, and my daughter's on her phone, and I'm like, Kendra, put your phone away. And Cody is like laughing. He's like, well, something to the effect of
Weren't you just
like,
on your phone?
Isn't that the pot calling the kettle back?
Do you know what her response was? But she was looking at cars and she can't even buy a car yet. And I love you so much.
I know.
It's okay.
I was beyond annoyed. But the fact is he was right. I had been on my phone, and I don't even remember what I'd been looking at. There was something I was looking up real quick, and then I got distracted because then I had messages from people with work. And
it's just a point for me that the faults that we see in others are actually the faults we see in ourselves.
Yes.
It's just so easy to point it out to others, but it's so hard for us to look at ourselves. And
wasn't there a scripture about the beam in your eye? You know what I mean? Like, And so I was so bugged by him, but like, that is something I really do admire about him, even though I was a little annoyed at the moment
Mhm.
is he does help me see the things I need to work on, but he himself is doing that. And so if he weren't trying to do that, I'd have been like, screw you. But I know he is actively working on being better, and I am always impressed by that. He's been doing yoga. He's right now in massage school, so he's learning a lot about the body. What else are you doing? Because you do meditation. That's a big one, and how important that breathing is. Are there any insights you've kind of gotten through that?
So many. There's a saying, and it's like the most beautiful souls carry the most scars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like I said, experiential knowledge is just bar none. There's nothing out there. When someone tells you not to do something, but you learn for yourself why you shouldn't. And I'm not saying that that's the best way to go about things, but the way that I've done it is like that. And
that's how your spirit has always been, though, Cody, since he was little. Like, my dad or mom would tell him, don't touch the hot stove, and he'd be like, well, why not? And he'd touch it. You know, like, that's just, he wants to learn through his own personal experience.
Mm-hmm. I have gained through all these trials. I'm so grateful, actually, for all the pain and all the problems I've ever experienced. And I've gained a perspective on life that I guess I've always wanted to know the secret to life, or what are we here for? Like, you know, all the questions everybody wants to know. And I'm not saying I have definitive answers, like concrete in stone exactly, but I have a basic understanding that I know to be like true. And you get to choose whether or not you want to be happy. It's totally up to you. And, you know, compassion and gratitude are my keys, like, to happiness. If you're just loving towards others and you're so grateful for what you have and not worried about the things that you don't have and being happy when you get them.
Right. Stop the I'll be happy when I have this. Just be happy now.
And everything's connected. Everything is connected. I can see it and I can feel it, more importantly. And the more I do the yoga and the meditation and the eating right and all those things, and the more I feel the connection. I feel the connectedness to everything, and it enhances my feelings. And I think our feelings are our superpowers.
Oh, absolutely. I actually just had a thought come to mind. Something that he once told me years ago, but just like recently was like, wow, this is legit, is he would tell me to just take off my shoes and put my feet either in the grass or in the sand and just like soak that in. You remember this?
Grounding.
Yeah, grounding. And I kind of thought he was so kooky at first, because this was years ago you first told me about it. And just within the last probably year, whenever I'm at a soccer game, I take my shoes off and I ground my feet, and I just like try and think I'm pulling in that good energy, because the earth is what God created, and I feel like it's there for us in so many ways. And so, yeah, I've loved that.
How many of us have grown food that we've actually eaten? How many of us have butchered an animal that we've eaten? And we've lost that connection to nature by industrializing the way that we live. But it's the small things you can do to try to reconnect into nature. And that's so minuscule compared to the way our ancestors and stuff did, like putting your feet in the grass. But we have to do something to try to
reconnect,
because that's what we're made from. We're made from this earth, you know.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to circle back really quick to at this point in time, are you very grateful that your suicide attempts did not work?
Yeah, but even if they did, it wouldn't have changed much.
I know. Okay, so that was probably my dumb question, but
my soul would still be exactly where it is, progressing and working, and it is what it is. Maybe one of them did work, and I'm in another dimension.
We've been watching this show. What is it called, Cody?
The OA.
The OA. Oh my gosh.
You guys need a good show on Netflix to blow your mind a little bit. Go watch it.
It is
the
a little
OA.
mind-blowing. It like consumed me for actually I watched it pretty fast. I don't know if I want to admit how long
Let's not tell them.
Yeah. Anyway, this is a sensitive topic, and I personally know several people who've been affected by family members who have taken their lives. And I hope at the end of the day, find a safe place. If it's something you're struggling with, you're in the process of healing, or you're still in the pain, in the suffering, find someone, find a safe place, find someone you can talk to. Find the good. Maybe write down every day what you're grateful for. I always do it. I do a gratitude journal where I write 5 things I'm grateful for every day. And sometimes they're legit and like serious, and sometimes they're silly. Like some days I'm just really grateful that somebody else did the dishes. But find your positive. If you're watching shows that you feel are bringing down your spirit, maybe change what you're watching. If you're listening to music that is negative, maybe find some uplifting. And I'm not saying that has to be the rest of your life, but maybe there needs to be a short time where you kind of revamp and regroup and bring positivity and light into your life. Also, I think we've talked about open your windows, open bright lights, go for a walk.
Get some sun.
Get some sunshine.
Your body produces vitamin D through sunlight. So it actually helps your body to create homeostasis. That's something I've learned in massage therapy school. So yeah, go get sunlight 15 minutes a day.
Yeah. So there are things you can do. I'm not saying that any of what we've had to say will be an answer for you, but I hope in some way it maybe opens your eyes or helps you in some way, shape, or form. And we hope you guys have a great day, and talk to you later.
Love you.
Thank you.
Blessings.